from just outside the perimeter and an undisclosed white void.
Basically where the team is right now.
Yes.
Yes.
Where,
Go Sam, will you stop a ball already?
where good business on the books has left us pretty shook.
Brooks, get back. Get back. Get back. Okay.
That was a groaner.
It was a groaner.
That was a groaner. I would have liked it better if you had tied something in with Crooks, because Crooks was really like, the shot that fired it all, and like we just
the
never
one though, because I swear I didn't hear his name the rest of the fucking game. Because I would have made that joke.
The rest of the game was Diego Luna. Jesus.
I know. I would have made that joke.
Hello, everybody. It is the Five Takes Podcast, and we are back.
We are back.
Like,
how do you like that?
Like Southgate barely hanging on to his job, as per usual. England sneaking through again.
Have they scored a run-of-play goal this tournament? I know France hasn't.
No, France definitely hasn't. Yes, England has. They have.
Oh, that's right.
Hey, speaking of
the two that dug them out of the crevice by Kane, and the overhead bicycle by Bellingham.
Speaking of run of play goals, you know what we didn't get beat by last night?
Run of play goals.
Man. Well, no, but set pieces.
We got
scored
3 set pieces.
That's what I'm saying. What we didn't lose to last night was run of play goals.
Oh, I missed it. Yeah. No.
This is going to be a great pod, by the way. Very concise. We're all dialed in here.
This is what happens when we do it on lunchtime.
That's true.
We are recording at a different time.
Day to process. It's only been 12-ish short hours or something.
But we are all back. All three of us are here for the first time in over a month. I'm here,
awesome
Kat's here, Jennifer's here. Kat's just kind of floating in white space, but like Jennifer said, not all that dissimilar to where the team is right now, just kind of there.
And we just float in.
And just floating
a couple
there.
Of Atlanta United heads right in this area.
Yeah, I guess we'll all float on, as Modest Mouse would say.
We'll see how good Glenn's editing skills are to have team players floating.
I've got a lot of work to do today on this one.
It feels more like as we all float down here.
I don't think this is going to be a traditional pod here, where we...
Traditional in what sense?
Where we go through the takes, we have things to legitimately analyze. I think we all know, unless you're just in a glorious state of denial, the state of this team and where things are and what we can honestly assess and take away from each match. It doesn't mean that there aren't things to be critical of, and it doesn't mean that there aren't still problems that shouldn't occur, regardless of the roster. There were mistakes made last night that I don't care who's out on the pitch. There's some fundamental stuff that has been a problem and still is a problem, and that stuff we can talk about. But as far as the composition of this team and what we can realistically expect, we don't know until after the window.
That's what I've been saying. I've been saying it for several weeks, including in the weeks, the episodes in your absence, which is that right now, the only thing that we can predict is that every single week is going to be unpredictable. We are not going to be able to know what kind of a match we're going to be watching every single week. We don't necessarily know that we're going to lose every single time because we've proven that isn't going to happen.
Jennifer mentioned this exact thing in that exact way in the last episode that you weren't on about, could be entertaining, could be fun, because you just don't know. We didn't know we were going to give up. We didn't know.
Disaster.
We don't know. Didn't know we were going to give up 5.
Last night was an absolute disaster. And the thing that got me all riled up about it, right? And I was pretty riled up last night, surprisingly, because
I can see you've calmed down.
Go on about your riled up. What was it?
We did not, there are a lot of things going on with this team that we can't control. We cannot control the fact that we had to sell Gigi. We cannot control the fact that we sold Tiago.
Sure.
We cannot control the fact that, we've got an interim manager and the lineup's in constant flux with, international call-ups, injuries, etc. Right. Those are things we can't control.
Yeah.
What we did piss poor last night was not to control the things we can control.
Did not control the controllables.
Correct. And that's what I was going to say before we hit record on this is, when we were kind of talking about what's gone wrong, calling out a few specific instances of what went wrong. It is those moments that are like just so goddamn frustrating, right?
Yeah.
Like that's really the thing. Why are Tristan and Brooks not man marking Chicho? Like for real, you're gonna leave the Golden Boot winner, the guy who's gonna win the Golden Boot, standing alone to just take a ball and put it wherever the fuck he wants to put it. What the hell were you thinking?
It almost feels like we weren't prepped enough for this one, but
what was not to prep about facing the guy with 17 goals?
I think you're absolutely right. Like, yeah, match compression, that's a real thing. I'm sorry, but that's 101. He's the Golden Boot leader. He's one of the most dangerous players in the league. He's got quality dripping off of him, and you allow him time and space to have a go? There's no prep for that. You don't need to sit your team go, okay, guys, so there's this player. Right. His name is Chicho.
Here's the video highlight reel of his current ongoing season. What do you live on? Like, all you do all day long is soccer. This is your job.
Yeah, that's soccer.
So if you are unaware that this player exists or is having the season that he's having, doing what he's been doing with them, how the hell do you not stay on him? Like,
you know what? And
what's wrong with you?
Before we get into it even deeper, but since we're on this topic of how frustrated we are at those just 101 mistake. We had them last year, giving up goals that I don't care who's out there, you should not give them up. Credit to Rob for calling that out last night in his post-game remarks as well about how angry and frustrated he was he understands everything that's going on, the state of the team and what he can do. That's unacceptable at any level. It's unacceptable. And I appreciated him coming to Jesus and being direct and honest about that's not good enough. I don't care if we're on short rest. Those moments are not good enough.
Yeah. His press conferences are the one thing that Pineda's never were, and that's honest and direct and
well, I think Pineda was direct, but he wasn't maybe as what's the word? Blunt, self-aware, like just come out and just say it, man. Hey,
it's not good enough.
No.
Let me ask you, though, of the 5, because fuck, there were some in there that were just excellent finishes. So for you, which ones are the soft goals? Obviously, number one. Because we just didn't come out of the gate. Now, I'll tell you, too, that was just, we didn't even get a chance to switch off because it was in the first minute. So which else, other than number 1, is a soft for you? Because the other 3 were set pieces.
1,
so
3, 4, 5.
Wow. Okay.
No, I think number 4 was Chicho's, right?
Yeah, but it's still time. Like the second one is bouncing around in the box, pivot hit. Okay.
Yeah, that was the soft goal. That was the other big softie for me, right? Because we left him alone to do his thing, and there were people, and there were Atlanta United players there that just literally, I don't know, like just check the fuck out. Like
the 5th goal, really Muyamba, he just stood there, man. He just stood there. I get it. Game's gone. Game's gone.
I don't get it. That's inexcusable.
No, well, I get it from. I'm not saying get it and not effort, but like I can try to get in a player's head of saying, okay, we're not getting anything out of this.
We're not coming back from this. Yeah.
You're on global TV. No. You have to stay committed. You got to keep playing for the badge. You just can't.
You have to be a professional.
Yeah, be a professional about it. And that's unprofessional.
You have to be a professional. And I think
it's not being a professional. Yep.
It's not good that the most professionalism that we're seeing on the pitch right now is coming from the kids and the academy players. Right?
It's true.
That those academy players are going out there because, and really actually, and trying to at least do the right things. It may not always work out in their favor. And yes, they're going to make some mistakes, but I mean, we've asked a lot of Noah Cobb. We're asking a lot of Jay Fortune. We are, we're asking a lot of Tyler Wolf, right? Like these and they're going out there. They may not be ready for all of this, but they're not checking out. They're still taking it. And I think that's probably the thing that's really irking me in all of this is seeing a guy like Muyamba just checked out completely. Yeah. And I'm glad Rob sat him last night. And I hope
and he barely had a chance to check in too. It's like, bro, you came on, like you got subbed in.
And he still had
don't fucking tell me that you were tired or gassed in any way.
And he still had checked out moments.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's no excuse.
No.
It's absolutely inexcusable.
Well,
There's no way to excuse it.
That that Harry the dog made in the Fan TV Discord
What you got?
earlier today, which is, the fact that there's a lot of people right now that begged, and I mean begged, for Pineda to get fired. Whether or not that was the right or wrong call, but they wanted him out. They wanted Rob in, and now they're watching a match like that, and the gut reaction of this fan base is to throw Rob completely under the bus.
I wasn't seeing that.
Like the overreacting, and people were lying to themselves because we had a little bit of a new coach bump. We did have a little bit of a break in the schedule. Look, it's not like Real Salt Lake is a pushover team as they have been in the past,
Nope.
and maybe that's what people have in their heads. I mean, this is a cup contending team.
Yes.
They have been that from the get-go. They are having one of those magical seasons where, having now seen both them and LAFC, I personally think Real Salt Lake is the better team.
Oh, I don't disagree at all. And we knew that going into it. Well, I say that because I would I've been saying that everything has been unpredictable. We didn't play horribly. Okay. We didn't play horribly in the first half. We had the goal in the first minute, but that's like, how often does that happen? And if you really dissect how it happened, it's like I said, you didn't have even a chance to switch on.
It happened to us a lot last season in the first 10 minutes.
Right. And I kind of thought that maybe we had figured some of that out. And so if you take that away, this is something Glenn and I were discussing right before we pressed the little red button. If you take that one out and we completely control the first half. We really did. And if we have a couple of other really decent finishes on, because Saba's was a great finish.
Right.
You have a couple of other those. You have the one that rocked the post, and you have another one or two that go wide. Those go in. That's very telling. That's like, wow, we put 3 past RSL in the first half. That's a huge narrative. Now that doesn't mean that they still don't come back and get the ones that they got, and then the game doesn't end 5-3.
But game state is totally different, and we're set up differently too. And who knows if we just finish those chances, and we can't.
Right, and you walk away maybe feeling a little bit better. And if we weren't in the position that we were in right now, I think if we were not in the position that we were in right now, and we went there hoping. If we were a playoff team, if we were in a similar position to RSL and we went there and got rocked, that would feel a lot fucking worse.
I don't know, because I feel like Real Salt Lake came out of that dressing room from the second half like a horny teenager.
Well, they did.
The first time they're going to have sex and they get to actually rip the clothing off a woman.
Right. But that's my point, though, is that...
And they stripped us naked
and
then had their way with us and then left us laying on the bed.
Yes, but we should have expected that from them. So if we had put 3 past them in the first half, that would have been completely unexpected by us. I know he's all red.
No, I'm not red. What I'm trying desperately to think of is a segue from horny teenager to Mason Mill, and I don't think I got it.
I don't know if that's a segue they want you to make.
No, it doesn't exist. So I'm just.
No, let's just do a hard cut.
Let's do a hard cut and just.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Like, I try to be colorful with my metaphors.
Oh, that was colorful. Yeah. That had a lot of color to it.
Rainbow. That was fucking rainbow.
Anyhow, thanks, Mason Mill. We appreciate you all riding with us through
riding with us. That's great.
Oh no, my God, nope. We're not doing it.
Wait, who's the horny teenager here?
Yeah, I may have regressed a little bit.
Jennifer making comments like a 12-year-old.
I spent a lot of time on the Discord last night.
Boy.
That's probably where my head is.
I don't know if anyone knows this, but they're a chiropractor in Atlanta.
They're our
chiropractor. They're very good.
We love them.
They will adjust you well. Don't. I can't even say it now without it like sounding dirty in any sort of way. This is a terrible ad read. We do appreciate them. We are happy that Dr. Cohen has taken this practice to where it is and keeping it going
very grateful
from Sherwood, and that Dr. Miner is back and that all is well. They had their week off. I hope they had a very restful week. and got recharged. They'll be back on the normal hours this week, which is Tuesday through Saturday. I have an appointment this coming next Saturday. And I will need it because this week is going to be brutal, working outside, shooting a little movie and it's going to be hot as hell. It's going to be hot as hell this week, and I will need an adjustment on Saturday. So I will be there for that. I think we have a game as well on Saturday. I know we got U.S. Open Cup on Tuesday. Are we playing Saturday as well?
We have a game against Montreal and the return, the away leg of Joseph.
There we go. Okay.
And hey, Joseph got the start this week, and he got like a 4.1 rating, and he looked pretty good.
4.1?
Yeah, 4.1 rating according to Google.
And out of 10?
No, I think it's up to 5.
Oh, okay. Because, SofaScore and FOTMob is like out of 10. So
if you go onto the Google and you're looking at scores,
okay. So he did well. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, great. We're going to run into that.
A different type of adjustment is needed.
Yes, exactly. Anyhow, call Mason Bill 404-321-0082. This ad read fell apart, but trust me.
I was trying to segue back. Yeah, I forgot that you hadn't told them the most appropriate information, which is the phone number.
Yeah, it's the phone number. Call it and go on the website to book an appointment.
Dog.
And my dog has something to say about that as well.
Woof. Your dog is a big fan of Mason Mill too.
Big fan.
And we're all hoping that that Atlanta United has as successfully transfer window as Mason Mill did, bringing back Dr. Miner.
Yep.
Oh, another good one. Yep. Yeah, we're working it in.
Anyhow, all right. Let's move into takes here. Even though there's nothing really proper to analyze, and we did get a lot of comments, and we'll try and weave those in as well. But look, the problems continue with restarts, or in last night's case, the start, but then also restarts of play too. Set pieces, 1 and 4, kind of the same thing.
Set pieces.
I hate. Shut up, Lexi. Right. I'm full on team. Shut up, Lexi. Believe me. But the guy is right. Like, we did not get beat, as Rob said last night, through moving us side to side, stretching us. Just good play, good goals. And you're not happy with that either. You don't want to give up a goal no matter what, but you could kind of understand that and go, okay, well, we played well and they just outplayed us. We just switched off in the worst moments. They had 6 shots on goal and 5 goals. Because we switched off at the best opportunity for them to score a goal, which is a set piece.
I want to make sure that we make a clarifying statement that none of those 5 goals were on Brad and Brad's ability. And
it's just not.
Before people want to be like, oh, Brad Guzan out, none of that yesterday was on him, and it was absolutely on everybody else.
And anybody who's making those kinds of comments, it goes back to people not truly understanding what it means to be a keeper and what the keeper's responsibilities are. No.
They might understand, but just have their own narrative that discarding all that and just want to push
legitimately, there is absolutely a universe where maybe the speed and quickness shot stopping ability that Cohen has shown us.
Okay.
He might have gotten his hands on
one of those. We still lose.
It doesn't mean they don't go in, even if he gets a hand on him.
We still lose. So he saves one of them. Reaction save.
That's the whole point. The one player I don't want to pin this loss on.
Agreed.
The only player I don't want to pin this loss on is Brad.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
And the other, I'm going to say too, the other one that I'm actually not going to pin it on is Rob.
No,
I don't think it's not Rob.
No, he's a caretaker, man.
He is. He's just, he's like, I've got this wee little baby, and I'm just making sure that I can keep it as safe as possible.
But it is interesting to note that,
as we walk through a tornado.
For the hardcore Pineda out crowd, and look, Pineda needed to go regardless, right? That was obvious. A change had to be made.
It was a question of when, not if.
The crowd then, if that crowd was also the crowd that was, okay, new coach, new manager, even interim comes in, fixes things, not really. Not really. The same problems are still there. I mean, he's got a slightly better record, but the same issues still persist. No matter who's been the coach, no matter who's been on the team. These problems have just become part of our DNA somehow. These critical switch-off moments. If we don't switch off in these moments, we may still lose. Fair enough. Maybe it's 2-1. And you feel differently about it. I know, results business, it's still a drop 3 points and you don't get 1. But it just, we're shooting ourselves in the foot so easily. We're just talking about moments. These are moments. We didn't get beat in run of play. We just didn't.
I happen to be of the opinion that had we sold, continued with the sale of Gigi, but like there was some sort of turnaround, right? We would have probably and there was definitely momentum building, kind of thing. We didn't have the kind of schedule where everybody's in and out of lineup. I think we might have held on to Tiago until after the season. Like if they felt like we were going to be able to make a legitimate run in the playoffs,
maybe.
That I think they held on to Tiago and try to win him some medal, and I try to get him to help us win some medal.
Well,
and I think
that only increases his value. So
exactly.
I think they knew that we weren't going to be there.
The way that we're now all of a sudden we're hearing about everybody moving out, including
Caleb.
Caleb.
Yeah, it does seem like the front office is kind of, I don't want to say resigned to that.
No, they're just putting the
but
cards.
It's like
they're throwing out all their spades.
We got a comment on Twitter that is leading into that and is really about take 5. You want to go with that, run with that a little bit, Jennifer? Just about
this is something that Israel Luna said on Twitter, and I'm very much in agreement with this. Is he said, what's the actual point of making the playoffs if we're not going to be title contenders? Signing both DP spots this summer without a real coach will keep us in the same place that we've been in for the past 3 years. The season is a wash, and that's okay. And
we've been saying that for weeks.
That's number 5. What trophy do we get for phenomenal business done? And there's no denial that, I mean, if I would like to see the trophy, is it just like a little dollar sign or something?
Yeah.
Like,
no, we have the potential to be 50
we have done
flush.
My hope is it's a fat bank account and no season ticket member pricing increases next year. Because if they, Garth already went on the offensive about that yesterday by saying, oh, hey, we have a new benefit coming out where if you're a season ticket member, you're going to get, from the schedule drop, you are going to be able to sell tickets back to the club. They already know. If you think that they're not ignorant of where the fan base is in terms of renewals and whatever, I would hope that the writing's on the wall that, as much as we all like come on, let's be realistic. Y'all just got $50 million.
All you have to do is pan. All you have to do is pan across the stadium at one of our home matches. And it's like you said, the writing is in the stadium.
That's true.
All you got to do is see who's there.
But look, from 17 on, from the inception of this team, cash money ain't never been a problem. And it wasn't going to be a problem, even if we didn't make a problem on profit on selling some of our top players. Arthur's got it. And that has never been an issue. We just lost Jennifer. She just dropped out. Okay. Let's just pause then.
Yeah.
We'll wait for her to come back.
Yep.
Even though that's going to be weird in the video. You know what? F it. We're going to continue. Jennifer's just having a potty break.
You know what?
She can just say that on video. She doesn't need to drop out of the video. Anyhow, unless she's peeing on camera, that would be really weird.
That's really awkward. No, I'm pretty sure I saw her actually leave the room because I don't think her microphone is off, so we would know if she were still in the room.
Let's just listen real close. No, but look, cash money has never been a problem for this club.
No, but it's not. It isn't.
But it's like Garth and Boca have to get this right this summer because we have to start. We have shown consistently that we're capable of making a profit. Okay, great.
No, we've
she's back.
like you said, if we get a trophy for making good business deals, that would be great. And I think that a lot of the fan base is getting a little tired of that. The buying and selling, being a farm league. I've seen that a lot. Being a farm league or a farm team for Europe, that shows a lot on our behalf.
And it's good that we can attract other players in, but we have got to start showing that we got.
Well, the people in this country, the people supporting this team would like to see them fucking win.
This is about to be a Michael Jackson lyric. All I really know is they don't really care about us. Like, it's starting to feel like that a little bit. They've got to nail this window, and it's got to be players that are going to make us markedly better and want to be here long term. We cannot just keep turning over profit and then we just rebuild next year. It's got to be more than that. We don't get trophies for this shit.
I can't remember where I read this, but I saw this in various sundry comments where people were saying that the sale of Tiago is truly the final end of the Darren Eales era. Right?
Yeah.
And Garth, the signings that Garth has done with his interchangeable DP things for Sleesh, Saba, and Gregerson, right?
Yeah.
Those were all long-term contracts. We're talking 3 to 5 year deals, right?
They were always intended that way, right?
Right. So those were those players were supposed to be and are supposed to be the cornerstones of the future business model. Those 3 players are not players that came here to go to Europe or came here for visibility or whatever you want to call it. So we haven't really been linked to any incoming signings as of yet. But I'm going to be really curious because I have no idea what the mentality is, and especially with the lame duck vibes that we're all getting about Boca right now. Like, I mean,
but then you have like something like the first half of last night. That's number 2. That response to going down that early in the first minute.
Well, you just wiped that off.
That was a terrific response from the team, and maybe a little, just dropping off from RSL as well, helping us out there. I mean, that was odd, and then they woke up in the second half. It really was. We say it all the time, tale of two halves. It was for both teams. It was for both teams yesterday. But that response was phenomenal. And I think Rob, if we want to try to find a positive out of last night, Rob deserves credit for we dominated that first half without possession. We haven't been able to do that. We did, and then we just didn't in the second half, and that has continued to be a hallmark. So Rob's not going to fix everything, but credit where it's due.
I want to pose a question to both of you.
Okay, what you got?
Right? Because this is, you keep hearing about similarities in Pineda ball and blah blah blah.
Okay.
Where do you sit on what Rob is doing differently? Is Rob doing anything differently than Pineda was doing? Like, are we actually seeing tactical shift, lineup shift, whatever you want to call it, that is different than what Pineda was putting out on the pitch?
Yes, the young girl down in front.
Yeah, I think he's swapping out personnel more aggressively than I think Pineda was willing to do. I think Pineda really had a starting 11 in his mind because that's what we were going for, and I know that. I think that because Rob has been tasked with a very specific and yet unique situation, I think he's just like, I'm going to do what I want to do and what I see fit for the team on a game by game by game basis. And what he's, for instance, Gregerson wasn't in there and Mayumba didn't start. He said, this is what we need to do for this match, so this is what I'm going to do. And I'm happy for that because I think that he's showing a little bit of I don't want to say he's cracking the whip a little bit, but he's just putting his stamp on things. He's saying, like, we're going to take it game by game, and if you have a bad game, if you have a bad week, if you're not showing me what you need to show me, then you're going to sit down. And if you need if it's because you need a break or for any particular reason, then we're going to change things. And I don't think that Pineda was willing to do that in the same way because those are two completely different situations. I like it. I like it.
I'm mostly in agreement. I'm mostly in agreement. I'm mostly in agreement
because I got in a fight with Amy last night over our group chat. I know, yeah, it was funny in our group chat where she basically said that Rob wasn't really doing anything differently than what Pineda had been doing, right? As far as running a high press.
Tactically, that's what you're saying. Okay,
exactly. So it's like, why did we bother firing him?
Well,
when this is what we're still getting.
I think it needed to happen. For me, the two biggest things that I see in differences between Pineda and Rob is less of a focus on just possession ball, right? Possession with purpose, and the priority isn't possessing the ball. Priority is doing something.
Because in the past, when we didn't possess the ball, it wasn't our choice.
Right. The priority is just attacking soccer with the ball. If that means we have 38% of the ball, okay. If that means we have 60% of the ball, okay. But the first benchmark that we don't have to meet is just hitting that percentage thing first. And it felt like that was with Pineda. And I also agree with you that I think, and it's not shocking, especially as an interim, that Rob isn't as rigid. But he doesn't have something to be rigid to. There isn't Valentino ball that he's established, and I imagine when he does have a head coach job, he will somewhere, that he will have his,
way.
it will be, and he will have like, I'm going to commit to this, right? But I don't expect that he will ever be a possession first guy. I don't think that's him. And Pineda was. And in order to play that way, it can be successful. You got to have the players that can do it. I don't think he ever did. And that's the coach's job to also recognize what you have, because you're not going to just switch out all the players and get it to fit your system perfectly. You got to understand what they can give you. And he wasn't really willing to do that. There's pros and cons to staying true to yourself, but you got to adjust more. I think Rob is more willing. I don't know if he's going to be super successful with it, but he's at least willing to show some flexibility game to game. And I appreciate that about him.
Yeah,
I want to ask you guys one other
Sure.
question that comes from comment Milan Turner made on the Footy Mob post for the 5 takes, right?
Yeah.
He says it's time to tell Garth the honeymoon is over. It was 2 to 3 windows when he got here, and now it's going to be 2 to 3 windows more, and that's a total of 6 windows. And Garth was supposed to be the stabilizer, and we are just as lost today as we were when he got here.
I don't know if we're just as lost. It does feel unstable right now. I'm not going to sugarcoat or deny that. It
definitely
does.
Unstable.
I think a big wrench that got thrown into things was Gigi and how quickly that went south. Almada, not surprising. We knew it was coming.
Yeah, that was another,
I think our 9 not scoring really fucked things up, to be honest. And I just don't know how much Garth is to blame for that. I mean, he will take the responsibility. He's building this team, him and Boca. End of the day, I get it. I'm sure he's just as frustrated. I don't know.
Are we, now what are we, almost 2 seasons into the Garth era, because he came in,
and we're not markedly better.
No, and I'm just asking, are we happy with Garth's direction and what we're getting from Garth? I think it's a fair question.
I still think yes. I still think that
the direction we can see it. It hasn't worked out. He
still has the vision.
Yep, that's what I want. That's the direction I want to go down.
Right. The only issue is that I think, unfortunately, there were 2 very frustrating seasons prior to him getting here. So you're 5 seasons into waiting around for a very
turnaround. Yeah, it's been
for a contending team.
We've been waiting for a turnaround for a long time.
Yeah, we haven't had it since 2019, and it's really and truly we haven't had it since 2019. So that's it. Is that the 5 years that we've now been waiting? Yes, 2 of them had to do with Garth, and by the end of it, it'll be 3 with him. So we're just tired of waiting. We really want to see. We need to see a turnaround. Like I said,
I agree with you.
You can see it when you pan across the stadium.
I agree with you in the sense that it's very hard to continue to be patient when you factor
the other 2.5 years,
2.5 seasons before Garth got here, and the direction that
another comment that we got just in the past hour from @BrokeBezos, love it. Number 5 being the big one for him as well. If all this cash doesn't propel us into being a top club again, what is the point?
What's the fucking point?
Now,
well, like you said, we've got the tiny little trophy for doing good business deals, but we're going to be 50 million flush. If you take that and flush it down the toilet, what's the point?
I
don't disagree at all.
Are we all in agreement? Because I think we are that, and I think a lot of fans are too, that generally speaking, we like where Garth wants to go, like the direction, the road. Oh, that looks like a very nice road. Let's go down that one. I'm cool with going down that road. And then we found a bunch of potholes along the way. But we okayed the road in the first place. That's generally the direction we want to go.
We are currently in the middle of a very bad game of D&D where
your analogies today. A noon recording time does things to you. It's fun.
I don't know.
It's fun. Go ahead. D&D, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Where it's like,
Dungeon Master,
there's supposed to be a direction and a goal that we're getting to, but we keep coming up snake eyes and we wind up just wandering around aimlessly lost. That is what we looked like last night. That is what we have looked like since, the Philly match back in early April. It's just, we're directionless. We have no purpose. And I would hope that the club can somehow find a way, even with everything they've got all going on, all these different transitions, players going out, management changes, things like that, to give us back some sense of a future. Because like we said in our chat last night, it is the hope that kills you.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, like you said, the moves lately that Garth has made have been those franchise lengthwise moves, right? So you look at somebody like Tiago and even Gigi necessarily. We wanted Gigi to be that franchise player, but that hasn't worked out. But if you look at the chess pieces, because for Garth, it's chess, not checkers. We're not just saying fucking king me and let's go. It's how can we make this a lasting, he's planning a Seattle Sounders type, legacy of a team. At least that's what I think the plan is, obviously. So if you look at how he's rotating some of those chess pieces forward, I still think that he's doing that. So let's see how this 50 or so million potentially that we're going to have continues with those chess pieces.
It feels like we're playing mousetrap.
Sure. Well, a little bit, but I was telling Jennifer, and of course she made a very good point. What I said, the more important thing than having an out and out striker right now is replacing Tiago, having a new number 10. And he doesn't have to be a 19-year-old Latin American phenom. We need we need that number 10, that centralized force, that thing that just gravitizes everything towards it. Okay. And she made that. You said that it was going to be more difficult to replace. I agree. Yeah. Take 30 million, take 25 million of that and secure that player. Find the number 10 that we can have for 5 years, not somebody that we're grooming to send to Europe. Find someone that we can use here, because strikers may come and go. Joseph was our franchise striker, and we may never see a player like him again in the same sense, right?
Do you know what
the number 10 we need to secure?
But do you know what the problem with that is? And it's not our fault. It's not Boca's fault. It's not Garth's fault. That player you're describing doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in this league, because if we want somebody that wants to stay, that's of that caliber, then we do have to go younger, and they're looking to make a move. We're not there yet. Doesn't mean we can't get somebody good, but the player you're describing...
We can't take 25 million and find a 26-year-old... or 27-year-old number
Tiago
10
caliber, a Tiago caliber 25 or 26-year-old
is playing already playing in Europe,
or they're playing in, or they're
doesn't mean we can't find somebody good, but I'm saying the exact player you're describing. I get who we still need,
and I don't necessarily mean I don't necessarily mean a Tiago.
I got you.
I mean somebody, and it's not a Darlington Nagby, but what I'm saying is like someone that can be that franchise player that is just the gravity that moves and everything is reference, like a Dax McCarty, but 5 years ago.
The frame of reference I have for it is Nick Lodero.
Yes,
I think that's
perfect. That's what I'm saying.
We have to go out and find our Nick Lodero. But I wonder, given the current state of the franchise, and frankly, given how successful it has been for Galaxy, for LAFC, and for Inter Miami, do they go out and get a Modric this summer? Do they go out and get a big name?
And it'll be the first time we've done it if we do it.
As frankly, as a tourniquet.
Yeah.
For current state of the
club. I said that last summer when I was spitballing before Messi had committed to Miami. And this was 2 years ago when there was this talk around whether or not Olivier Giroud was going to be kind of coming to MLS because he was nearing the end of his career. And I was like, how fucking badass would it be to go out and, because we didn't have a striker. This was before we signed Gigi. That's what it was. I was like, we need somebody. Let's sign a Giroud for 1 year. Let's bring fans back into the building. Let's put some butts in the seats and let's have some fun for a season. And maybe we can, and then he can move on. He can move on to LA Galaxy. But fair. That's not something we have done yet. Would it?
Well,
signing Modric, how long do we get Modric? What is that? Maybe a 2 or 3 year contract if we're able to do it?
Years. He's 40 something.
Chicago Fire got Shaqiri. That's a perfect example there.
But Shaqiri only plays for country. He doesn't play for club.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's a great example with the power cube. He hasn't done anything for Chicago. But I understand
based
the
on
approach.
Reputation and status.
So, let me ask you both this, and we'll finish on these two questions. what you were just building up off from each of you, and I think both. I don't think there's right or wrong here. Both points of view are valid. Do we, with our key position of a 10, do we go with that marquee player, right, and just attract attention, all that, or do we go and somebody that's also older, veteran experience, brings all that with him, doesn't need development, already developed is what I'm trying to say, or do we go with the same model and that player is younger and we stay true to the Atlanta United way? I know, given what the team needs right now, it's kind of difficult. I think both points of view are valid. Where do each of you land? It's tough.
I'm gonna say because two reasons.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the season itself is probably a bit of a wash. I still think that going out and trying to get as far as we can in Open Cup, because do we deserve to go into the playoffs with what we've got currently? No, we don't. So let's continue to show up. Let's not get anybody hurt.
But with the 10 specifically.
I know, I'm
which
getting there.
Player? Which side?
Right. So I think I would, especially too, because we just made the money off of Tiago that we were more or less hoping to get. I think we have, even if it takes 6 months, even if it's not, easily into the spring transfer before we start next season, I think that the money that we have, because of how flush we're going to be with it, I think we need to find the new number 10. I think we find that marquee player.
Okay, so you want somebody not developed, not like a Tiago mold that's
younger.
Oh,
no, I'm sorry. I misunderstood the marquee player aspect. Yeah. No, I think we need to maybe
which way then?
22 years old.
Okay, so the same mold, the same model, the same approach, not getting somebody who's already developed.
We had Tiago for 4 years.
Okay.
We might have a Modri for 1 season, and then what?
Okay, so somebody that's still going to need, that's still developing. This is a developmental stop for him.
Yeah, as much as I hate it,
staying
as
that
long
way.
as it's in the right direction.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Jennifer?
I think that's what I gotta go with.
I think I'm kind of, as cool as it is to hear announcers say, former Atlanta United standout Miguel Almiron. I think I'm kind of tired of being the way station.
Yeah, it's not doing anything for us now.
So you want somebody...
on the one hand, like, to get to watch a player like Tiago come up, like, it was special. Yep. We were treated to some really special moments with him here. But ultimately, I think, and I hope that the club does the right thing in terms of not signing the first opportunity that that comes across their desk. I think they need an established 10. I think we need some long-term stability that is going to work, not long-term, obviously, like that's, and again, Jack said this several weeks ago, where, like, sometimes when you're rebuilding, it just doesn't always work out the way you want it to, the way it should on paper. There's all sorts of things that you can't control. Yeah.
Look at you, Ozzy Alonso. Yeah.
All things being equal, I think it is in our best interest to find an established 10, not a Premier League 10, maybe not a, Atletico,
I agree with you,
Real Madrid type 10, but maybe a PSV Eindhoven 10, maybe a marquee player, maybe a marquee player for one of the national teams. Like,
I agree with you. Yeah, I need somebody who can kind of be the guy right now and not be the guy later. Has potential to be the guy. Correct. Like when Tiago came here, we all saw the potential. This could be the guy. Like, wow.
And he was the guy.
You have to be now. This is where we're at.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you think, and listen, if we do that and it works, I'm great. I need a season of winning. I really, really do. How? So if that happens right now, and even into if we get a decent 2025, and then we have to rebuild again because we get a Modric and we only sign a 1-year contract and we have to find it again, I guarantee you they are still looking for that, even if we have the marquee player for a season and a half. Right?
I would not be unhappy if they sign Modric on like an 18-month deal.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we do it for a year and a half.
And then they go out.
Bring the butts back. Bring the butts.
Correct. But I don't want them to waste the opportunity on another unfortunate situation.
And that's my other point. We've got the money. And we if we're gonna say, okay, so we built up this guy in Tiago Almada, we did the same thing that we did with Almiron. Mm-hmm. We've got to capitalize on it. Otherwise, we had 4 years of Tiago and we sold him for what?
I think
for an 18-month player.
I think that will be the approach. I don't think the club's going to change the how they've gone after this specific position. But I would like to see a different change just for right now of somebody who does have that experience.
I don't disagree. It's a tough place.
On a closing note,
Sure.
I just want to give a major thank you and a major shout out to the kind of person, because we talked about this on the last pod, to the kind of person that Tiago Almada has demonstrated that he is.
Yeah, what a video that oh man.
If you haven't seen it on any of the socials, go spend 45 seconds and watch his thank you to Atlanta. And Yorgos, I know you don't give a flying fuck, but you should fucking watch that goddamn video.
Take a fucking note on how to appreciate the people.
From a 23-year-old kid as to how he conducted himself in a manner that is so far beyond anything that crossed your mind. And I'm happy for, go live your life, Yorgos. Go make all your money. Live, but learn and grow like this, like Tiago did, because what Tiago did was beautiful. And I, as a fan of this club and the badge, am really appreciative for basically every facet as to how that man conducted himself while he was
Agreed. Do we have time for one quick point? Just don't, let's just short answers on this one, but it's kind of key here. Okay. Are we overreacting?
To what?
If last night's match, we don't give up the set piece goals, and maybe we get scored on an open play, maybe it's 3-1, 2-1. Are we feeling differently right now, or are we really?
Well, we scored 2, so you can't say 3-1
or 3-2, whatever. But you know what I mean. If take away the brain fart goals, do we feel differently about this?
No.
Still the same?
Because the brain fart thing has been the massive problem.
But that's what I'm saying. Take away the brain fart goals. If it wasn't brain fart issue.
You can't take the brain fart goals away, Glenn, because we have been brain farting our way to losing
I'm saying in theory. If we didn't have the brain fart goals, if we didn't have that issue, you feel way different about this team?
No, I don't think so, because I still think that we can view this game in a very similar fashion, in the sense that it was a tale of two halves. We did what we did in the first, and then they came out and they woke up in the second. The amount of goals, the fact that it was 5-2, even if it's 3-2, or even you take away, like you said 3 set piece goals, so it's 2-2. That's a very good match.
That's what I'm saying. If we don't have brain fart issues,
you just can't.
But if we don't, because that's the big problem with this team right now, right? Not open play, it's concentration.
Right, but that's what Jennifer's saying, is that you can't take them away. It's a non-hypothetical. You can't know that logically.
Until they can show me some level of consistent 90-minute engagement over an extended period of, say, a month and a half, 2 months, of not having, if they have the brain fart, if they don't have the brain farts and they still lose, I would call that a reason to be optimistic.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So it is the brain farts that's the primary problem of this club right now.
Brain farts have been the problem for 2 years now. It's not like it's the thing.
Right.
So you can't say, forget the brain farts, and then do you feel better? Because the brain farts are the problem.
Yeah, I'm not denying that. I'm saying that is the problem, and I don't know how we fix it, because it's been present over everything.
So maybe a new coach helps that.
I would think so. I think that's the only thing that
is the only thing we have to look forward to when it comes to the change in mentality and gameplay. Because we are having there are individual good performances. I actually thought Saba did very, very well last night.
So did Rios. He's scoring. He's doing stuff.
We the first thing that Jennifer said when we were watching the matches, or even before the match started, is, well, that's interesting. We have no offense. Well, surprisingly enough, the offense actually did kind of show up. It was the defense that didn't show up last night, which
is a total reversal.
It's a total reversal of
it's infuriating. The first 4 months of the season, where the defense didn't show up, but where was the offense?
Right. So it's infuriating in and of itself. But I really, it's a non-sequent. You can't ask that question logically, because it's just.
I was using it to sort of identify what the problem is. And it's not often getting outclassed. It's just switching off. And we got to hope that a coach can just I don't know what they do in training to instill that to stay, hey, focused, but we hope that happens.
All right.
Alrighty. I'm
everybody,
sorry.
No, I was just going to say everybody's got to use the litter box, so it's time to go.
Everybody has to go to the bathroom now. All right. Well, thanks y'all for listening. I don't know, man. It's frustrating, and it's going to continue to be frustrating. Let's be real. We'll try and stay objective about this as much as we can. Speaking of the litter box, we just had another one of our run off, use the bathroom again. Man, I don't know. It's just what it's going to be until we get past the window and we solve the concentration problem, which shouldn't be a problem, but apparently is.
We have 4 major spots to fill, not just 3. It's not just Caleb, Tiago and Gigi going. Yeah. We have to fill the coaching position too. And we're going to have to spend a little bit of money there too.
Yeah.
I don't, that's not going to be a $750,000 a year job.
No,
it's going to be
multi-million. Yeah.
Because
we need someone with gravitas.
Well, because that's something else that we need to think about generationally. And I know that they were doing that with Pineda, and I'm at least appreciative of that. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
So, the front office is tasked with a huge duty right now. See, I said duty.
Yeah, duty. So she walked back in. Yeah, I mean, of all the positions where you need somebody with the real experience, it's at coach. That can't be a developmental stop. Like, we need as high a caliber, as close to Pep as you can get in this league.
Klopp.
Yeah,
Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, sure. I mean, look.
It's not
as high caliber
to talk about.
As high a caliber, as much of a player coach that will just get something more out of these guys and correct these silly mistakes.
Yeah.
It's not open play shit. We're talking about staying switched
for
on.
it. Because there has to be a line in the sand where this becomes completely unacceptable and there are consequences.
Yep.
Right? There are consequences for when you check out.
Yep.
Yeah, you sit your ass fucking down.
All right, we're going to check out now. Appreciate everybody listening. We will be back next week. Probably not for Open Cup. I don't imagine so. I don't think we'll have
I'm going to Open Cup, so I will see all y'all there.
If you're there, look for Jennifer and maybe grab a sticker.
I have stickers. You can find me.
Apart from that, we'll try and be back next weekend for, the pod against Joseph in Montreal. That's going to be real interesting.
We have a really great crowd going to Montreal, by the way. Like, thrilled to see it. There are several hundred people going up for that match, and you'll have a great time. Montreal's a great away. Like, it's
great away
everybody
match.
says it's their favorite away. So thank you guys for sticking with this team, traveling with them, supporting us, supporting Mason Mill. All those good things. We love hearing from you guys on social media. Don't stop believing. We're going to keep talking about it.
All right, y'all. We'll be back next week. Until then, y'all be good. We will be back.
Meow.
Delayed meow, like our trophies, very delayed. Yes.
It was a peep. It was a mew.
It was a meow from the void.
Meow.